we partner with schools. They pay a very small fee for the services.
Kale nkwaniriza ku volume up webale kubanga otwegaseko nze eno Mutunja kanyumero kano nga wembategeeza earlier on tugenda kuba tutunulira ku nsonga za teknolojia era mukyalo nga bamulengera bulungi nnyo yanyumye mu bijisha uniform eba t-shirt brand ya Robcode International Academy yimchala Anna Mary Kehunde. Yeah, this other name Kehunde gives me hard time. Naye will go by she's Kehunde and Mary. She's the founder and director, executive director, CEO. All the titles that has in the organization. So we're going to be talking technology. You're welcome on the show and good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Enoch.
How are you?
I'm fine. My name is Anna Mary. I'm the founder, like as I've told you. I'm the founder and CEO of Robocode Academy International, an organization that trains robotics, coding, and STEM education to young children between the age of 3 up to 16 or 17, somewhere like that. You're
in the middle there between 16 and 17. Now, someone who is watching us and they have had Robocode for the very first time, what would you want to define Robocode to them as? What would you want them to know Robocode as, or what is Robocode in short?
Robocode in short is a service provider. We provide services to different people, for example, schools, community centers, refugee camps, and organizations that are in need of our services. Yes.
Like okay, I understand you provide services, which is okay. But what is the organization about? What do you do? What do you want the audience that is watching us to identify Robocode as?
Okay. So thank you so much. Robocode is an educational institution. It's an organization that trains robotics, coding, STEM and AI, cybersecurity to learners in the age group I talked about. And we go to schools. We do school partnerships. So we partner with the schools and we go to those schools and train the children these skills.
You say coding?
Yes.
Robotics,
cybersecurity,
STEM.
Yeah.
Now we will come to you telling us in depth of every word we are using, because these people watching us, they want to understand when you talk about robotics. Now, what do we mean? But first, before we reach there, how old is Robocode? And first, before we even go to the how old is it? Why Robocode? What does Robocode mean? Where did you get the name? The name sounds so technical, you know.
Yeah, so actually Robocode came from the word robotics and coding. Robotics, coding. Yes, so since we are service providers, we added academy and then international, because we are aiming at going beyond Uganda. We're aiming at going in East Africa and then Africa as the whole. So that's why we added international.
So Robocode is from robotics and
coding. Robotics and coding academy. Then international, because we are aiming at being at an international level.
My head was all paining, wondering where does the Robocode come now from? You know, so like it was so technical. Was it a terminology used in technology that I do not understand? But it was a short format. You just added two names to come up with a name.
Yes.
And now, why technology? Why, of all things, all services on earth, did you choose to go the direction of technology, especially do things to do with coding, robotics? Because I'm sure, as we'll be explaining to the audience here, not so many people identify with these things. Not so many people, especially this generation, and also the millennials and those other generations. Most of them don't identify with robotics, with STEM, with that thing. Even when we spoke about STEM, someone was wondering, "Obakata ku STEM, twasomako mu primary. You remember the STEM of the leaves and the stuff."
Yeah.
Now, you see, that might be even the picture they have in their minds. But first, watch technology.
So, currently we are moving in an evolving world. We are not in ancient world, so we need to move with what is going on. So we are moving towards the generation of technology. When we talk of technology, we just mean even using electricity is technology, even using your phone is technology. Before they did not have phones, but right now we have phones. Before they did not have a lot of things, but right now we have a lot of things that are using wireless connection and all that stuff. So when we go to technology, we are aiming at empowering people and children with skills of evolving with what is going on. Can our Ugandan people be at the level of the international level? We don't want to keep behind. We want to also be with others. That's why we specifically went into technology stuff. However, for our academy, we decided to go right from the age of 3 because learners and children are introduced to these gadgets. For example, gadgets, computers, TV at an early stage. So they need to know what is actually going on, how they're supposed to be using that stuff at an early age. That's why we start from there. There is a question you asked me. I really want to clarify on that. When we say STEM, we mean science, technology, education, engineering, and math. So it's a combination of a lot of things, but basically in education. So when we say STEM, we are not meaning the tree or the leaves.
I think STEM used to be one part of a plant. If I remember my science correctly in primary. So you might be talking to, the primary kids are still at home. Some of them haven't reported. So we might talk about STEM, and what they go singing about, what they saw on TV is one part of a plant. But we wanted to clarify, even for the people who would want to understand more. You said the science, technology.
T stands for technology, S stands for science, T stands for technology, E stands for engineering education, and then M stands for math. Now, right now we added something that is an A, STEM, what's something like that. So A standing for arts. We are going to reach there. For example, like at Robocode Academy International, arts is very important because learners design projects, and they have to draw, then make designs, and that is the art part of it. That is why it is very important to add art in the STEM part. Because time is running, and we would want people, to explore these things and explain them very well. Let's get to programs but are you registered? Is this registered organization? Yes. And how long have you been working so far? So we are registered with URBS. We are licensed to operate. We've been working for almost 4 years, but then we became formal last year.
Becoming formal means is when you registered.
Registered completely, fully registered.
VRSB, getting
licensed and all that stuff.
Do you have offices?
Yeah, we are located in Chanja. So if you go to Chitara, then from Chitara you go to Chanja. That's where our offices are. If you reach there, you can find us. Okay,
we'll get to how best they can reach out to you. Now, do you have background of sciences, and how did you end up in technology? You as a person, because as a founder, usually now I am asking because I want to understand. Now I have the founder, the vision bearer of the organization or the company. What was in your mind for you to come up with something like this? What did you envision? What objectives did you have, and what exactly do you want to achieve?
So basically, I am a physics and math teacher. I'm a physics and math teacher, but professionally. By profession, I'm a physics and math teacher.
You've practiced teaching before?
Yes, I've practiced teaching before. I teach A-level physics and math. Well, I also teach O-level, but most of the times when I was practicing, I used to teach A-level most of the times. However, growing up as a person, I realized, not realizing actually, when I came to Kampala, I saw something different because I came after finishing campus university. That's when I came to Kampala. I realized something. Kampala. I was in Kampala. I'm from Kabale.
So you were in Kabale all this long until you finished university.
Yes, I had never stepped in Kampala.
So even your university, you did it from Kabale.
Yes. everything Kabale.
Okay.
So I started from primary to secondary, then to university in Kabale. Then from Kabale, I came to Kampala for job hunting. But when I reached here, I got surprised. I was actually in a different world.
You say electricity?
No.
Hey.
I saw people doing things differently. That's why I saw coding, I saw robotics, I saw people doing things I wasn't exposed to when I was still the other side. And also I grew up in a village setting, so we never had those chances. So, but it's my duty and my role to make sure these these services actually reach to everyone, every learner in the community and even back in villages. That is why we also have a program of reaching in refugee camps, outreach programs. Since I am a physics and math teacher, this STEM technology thing is somehow combined or somehow related to physics and math.
Yeah.
So I found it very easy for me to cope up with it because I didn't know it. Trust me, I didn't know it. I just learned it.
Just learned coding.
I learned everything by myself. Yes, the capacity building. You know, I am a curious person. I'm someone who, when I see something, I really want to learn it. I want to see how it works and then put it in practice. So back then, I was trained to do physics and math theory, teaching theoretical, theoretically. But then I realized people here do practical. I was like, okay, you know what? This is a good thing. How about if we could put it in schools at an early age? So from there, we developed curriculum with that certain team. We developed the curriculum. Then we also developed how to. Internet has a lot of things, by the way. It has all these things, all these projects. But then we do not want to learn them. But me, I was like, okay, there is technology, there is internet, things are on YouTube. So why don't I learn these things? I taught myself. And then after learning, I went to Makerere for masters, so I got this designing the curriculum stuff. So instructional design, that's the course. So and then I was like, okay, you know what? I think I can do this. So I decided to start up this company to make sure I can reach out to people, very many people, more than I can reach out when I'm one person. For example, if we do a TOT, training of teachers, they also go and train other learners. So there we're reaching
a bigger community.
Yes, a bigger audience, a bigger community. And this is what I want our learners to experience. It's a beautiful thing. Trust me, it's a beautiful thing, and I really want our learners to experience this. That's why I started this.
Yeah, I want to ask at a certain later stage in the show why you've grown up in the village, and from what you explaining, it looks like you want that other person who is not exposed to what you say in Kampala should be first beneficiary. But why are you doing the programs in Kampala? You're doing programs people are already exposed, and you're living that world that you want to reach out to.
Why? Reach there. So we are not only doing it in Kampala, we are also going in the outskirts of Kampala. However, we are stationed in Kampala because that's where we set up the base. But even that, we have the part of, the city. A lot of people, you get a lot of people. Then a lot of people want to see your work. Then to clarify on something, it's not like everyone in Kampala knows robotics, knows coding, or knows everything that happens in that field. We are still in Kampala, but few people who are curious know these things. Most of the people do not know what is happening in this world, in the world of robotics and coding. So we are also bringing it to Kampala. And Kampala is not, it's not like everyone has the services or the computers, the TVs and all that stuff. We also have local people within Kampala who also need these services, who also need to know about this. And that's why we're also in Kampala, because we are operating in Kampala schools and people do not know.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's get to programs now of this organization. We talked about three. We talked about coding. We want to go by one so that someone watching out here, they get to understand what is coding when you talk about coding, because we might sing it here and by the time we leave here no one knows what coding really means. So what do you mean when we talk about coding? Let's start with coding. What happens there? What transpires there? And maybe now, which is the right time, I will ask the producer also to give you some of the photos, so that people can be then you get a research stage where you'll be explaining is coding related what these people are doing in schools, because it is easier, you know. Actually it is in Muganda, they have a saying that Muganda gali mungalo. So as they are watching, you will be explaining so that they can get to relate on what we are discussing here. Coding, what does entail?
So coding, like as I said, we are training young learners and old people. So coding is classified in two things. Coding is making computer programs. If we say computer programs, we are meaning like learners using computers and then making blocks. So we have two types of coding. We have block-based coding and then we have text-based coding. When I say coding, okay, let me explain to someone maybe who has never heard of it. When I say coding, I mean like you see how this calculator works. You click a number and then a number goes on the screen of the calculator, and then maybe you say 2 + 2 = 4. So it gives you the answer automatically, but then there is someone who made it be able to give you an answer, and that is what we call coding. There's someone who did some background work such that whenever you press 2, it can be displayed there. Whenever you press +3, it is displayed there, and then whenever you click equal signs, it gives you the answer. So there is someone who made some background work.
There is someone who programmed that,
exactly,
that calculator.
Yes.
Okay.
So and then that is the programming part we are talking about. So now programming, since we have young learners we are training, we use what we call block-based programming. So here learners just drag and drop blocks. If they have somewhere where there is block-based programming, they will show people on the screen. So learners drag and drop blocks, something like that, and then something happens on the stage. On that interface we have a stage. So
there is another video of blocking. I'm sure the producer will display it.
Yes. So learners do drag and drop blocks, and then blocks are displayed on the screen, and then something happens. Something is shown that learners are doing. Let me give you an example. If a learner wants to program, for example, a game, a very small game, let's say maybe a snake game. So a learner drags and drops the blocks, and then these blocks, when they become many and the learner plays them, they make that snake game. The game starts making whatever you always it making, eating the ball, something like that. And then there's some background sound. Everything is programmed step by step. And learners need to learn these skills. Also to be patient. You know, sometimes you program something and it refuses, it doesn't work. So what you're seeing on the screen, for example, that is text-based programming. In the background of that radar, so that is a sensor. It is sensing an object. For example, if you want to protect your home, but then you don't want to put a gate, but then you want it to be protected virtually, what you use something like that. That what is behind is what we call text-based coding, and then what you're seeing is the radar. If there is an object close, it shows and maybe makes an alarm, and that is what learners do in the classes. They use that programming.
Those things are happening in Ugandan schools.
Yes, they do happen in Ugandan schools.
I just watch those things in movies, especially things to do with, I am telling you, most of us watch the things in movies, whereby you see these sensors, maybe for security purposes and the rest. Usually I watch them in movies now. It is interesting that I'm seated with someone who can create that kind of. So what I am seeing in the background now and what people are seeing on their screens, you call it text coding? Or?
Text-based coding. So learners write texts. Text is like writing letters, writing words to make a code. So it is called text-based coding.
Then there is block-based
coding. So what you see is an ultrasonic sensor. All these things are actually sold here. So, but learners make that code, and then they put that code through that cable to the what you're seeing that is connected to the cable is called an Arduino board. So for the sensor to be able to detect the board, to detect the code, it is supposed to pass through the Arduino board, and then the code goes to the Arduino board and does what you have told it to do. You have told it that, you know what, protect this space. If someone reaches this side, the person should be sensed, and maybe an alarm is made, such that even if you don't know that there is a protection, you are not sure about that. But then, for me, I made a code. It is running, and then you just come across. It alerts me. You know what? There is someone at the gate, and then you do something. You maybe allow them or you don't allow them. Let's take a bigger picture. There are countries that always need to protect their nation by putting satellites.
Yes.
And maybe it doesn't want a bomb. Maybe there is a bomb that is going to be placed on their country. So it stops the bomb. It's you to program it, though. So it stops the bomb from hitting the country. Let's take that example. It reaches space, it doesn't reach the country. That is the type of protection we use. For example, the radar you've seen is the area of protection. So you program it and say, you know what, on this area, something should not pass by this area. You program it and say, you know what, nothing should pass by this area. You can also specify that a bomb, something that has ABC materials, shouldn't pass by this area. And then when something comes, it alerts you, you know what, there is something that has this nature, which you said shouldn't pass, but is coming. What should we do? Then you, as a person, you make an action. Okay. Yes.
Coding is interesting, I think.
So it's hardware programming.
That it is hardware.
Yes. So there are a lot of things. There is text-based programming, block-based programming, but then for you to be able to put the code into the project, it is also called hardware programming. So there is software programming and then hardware programming. You know how to build a website.
Yes.
Or for example, Excel TV has a website. So that is software programming, whereby the end result, you build website, you build apps, you have apps on your phone. Yes, you build games. So that's software programming. You have heard of software engineers.
I know.
Exactly. Now for hardware programming, after making those codes, you have to put it in real life. For example, make a code and make a remote be able to sense a TV. That is hardware programming.
These people don't know that even a remote is a kind of hardware that is there they use. That's a hardware.
That is called hardware programming. So what you see inside is called a PCB board, and learners at our academy do that. So they put the code in the PCB board, and then the board is able to sense that, you know what, this is a TV. So what you always see that sense is called an LED, and learners were connecting it on the screen. So it is able to sense that, you know what, this is a TV, put it on, put it off, something like that.
Okay, this is interesting. That is up to coding now.
Yes. So those are the sensors you're seeing on the screen. They are able to sense, you know what, there is a cup, please bring water, and then water is brought automatically. So that is an automatic dispenser. And for clarity, we use components that are easily affordable, that can be reached or can be got within the environment. So we don't use complicated projects. For example, those are cardboards.
I see.
You get a cardboard. Yes. Cardboard. You get a cardboard, you prototype your stuff, and then know how things work. We are not going to, because we realized buying kits, there are some kits that come already made. We realized it is so expensive, and there is no school that is going to tell you know what, let me buy kits. Maybe bigger schools, but then most of the schools do not do that. Okay. So we decided to bring this service to learners by using materials that can be got within their environment, so that whenever even they go in the holiday, they're able to get these materials, and then they're able to experiment from home.
Wow, this is interesting. So someone would have their water through a sensor. Just say, you know, you bring your cup, and they say, wow, this is interesting.
Yes,
this is interesting. So there is what you say, robotics. Does that relate to these ones, or this is coding? Now, what is robotics?
Let me go to that. So this is somehow related, when you say robotics and then you say coding, they are related. But then they are somehow different, because robotics is so much of hardware programming.
Yes.
Remember I told you software programming and hardware programming. So for software programming is mostly in coding. Then for hardware programming is mostly in robotics. So let me give an example. Okay, or let me explain in details. So for robotics, we are aiming at making projects that solve problems in the community. Problems that see, like, this is a problem, can we solve this problem? Can we solve it using technology? And then you try solving it. So that is the robotics part. Now let me give you an example. For example, you want to, in medicine, let's go to medicine. You want things to work automatically. Maybe someone, when someone is sick, it scans the person automatically, or maybe people get tired, but then you try putting in robots to make sure robots do the work quickly. Or let's go in industries, machines lift heavy things, put them the other side. So what you do, you program those machines to automatically know that this is a microphone, you get it, put it the other side. So that is robotics, making automated projects. But then how do you make those automated projects? You start from the grassroots. You start from simple to complex. So you don't get a child of 5 years or 10 years and then you take them to a bigger machine and you want the learner to program the machine or to use those sensors to program it. No, you start from, this is a sensor, this is a cardboard, this is a breadboard. Can you please try connecting and get at least it can sense this hand? And then the learner makes it. When it is able to sense the hand, then you say, okay, now it can sense the hand. So can you now upgrade to this? Can you now upgrade to this? Step by step. And that's how we train our learners.
So that is robotics, because when I was talking to someone that we were going to have someone who will be talking about robotics and the rest. And so, is a robot nangizagara. Inga robotics kati bivamu robots mulaba izikola machines zitambuza wano ne wali and the rest.
There is a fire somewhere, but then people cannot go inside, so you just send a robot. I shared a video of a robot going to do fire.
There is a video of a robot going to do fire. The producer will look for it.
Yes. So it was done by students, by the way. It's just a small robot. It sees fire and then senses it and then puts water there. So this is okay. Learners are supposed to solve problems, remember?
Yes.
So if there is a fire outbreak somewhere and then learners can't see that, you as a person, you can't reach that fire. What do you do to solve that problem? Because the house is burning. You send the robot there. You can use a phone
to control
where it goes and then powers water there, and then the problem is solved. Something like that.
So those are two programs. STEM. No, there is STEM.
There is robotics. Right now, have talked about robotics and coding.
So yes, this is the one for fire.
No, this one learners were 6 to 7 years. They had connected an LED. This was for smart screen.
You're saying 6 to 7 years?
Yes, 6 to 7 years.
In schools in Kampala here, in Uganda?
Yes. These are cardboards. They had made an LED. Then that is block-based programming. Actually, yeah, that is very good. So what you're seeing on the computer is called block-based programming. So learners use those blocks to put them in the code, in the Arduino board, and then says, if someone reaches at this point, please make an alarm. And then an alarm is made. Oh. Something like that.
Okay.
For protecting the house.
Security. Wow. This is interesting. I see boxes, I see just cardboards, I see just something like, anyway.
We are trying to use materials that are easily available in the environment.
STEM.
So STEM, we said science, technology, engineering, and math.
And you're including the element of art in there.
Yes. From what I've already explained, all that is being combined. How? Science, by you applying science and technology. When you're doing this, for example, you're making codes, that is technology. You're trying to solve a problem, that is technology. You're trying to be creative to make sure, okay, if I make this will make this, and then I will solve this problem. That is being creative, critical thinking, and that is what we are trying to input in our learners at a young age of 3. Then engineering, university students if you could be there watching me and you're a university student, and you do, for example, maybe software engineering or robotics engineering or something like that, you already know what you're talking about. Is already engineering, part of engineering. Learners do these things at university. We also train in institutions that are in need of these services. So that is what they do. They also use coding, programming to make hardware components. However, for them, their projects be a bit more complicated. Not for a 3-year-old or 7-year-old.
So do you also do complicated trainings? Those complicated
well,
ones?
let's not call it complicated, but advanced.
Okay.
Yes, more advanced. Yes.
You also do that?
Yes, we also do that.
Okay, that's interesting. And science and technology is very interesting. I am looking at some photos of you in schools. Maybe the producer, like our producer to some of the photos that you've been sharing. These are
for example, those kids, the behind picture, the kid had made a fan.
The first picture the producer was giving us, yes.
So the learner had made
this one here.
That one. This child is 7 years, so had made a fan using cardboard. So we just gave a learner a motor. And then after giving a learner motor, we said, this is how you connect a motor from LED, from the batteries. You go here, from here you go here. So which project can you do with a motor? A motor is for spinning, so they can make several projects, maybe car. So the learner was like, I want to make a fan. And then that's what the learner was doing, was trying to glue the fan and making the project work out.
Okay, Marisa, we could run through these photos very fast as she tells us what she explains what they were doing. Then there are these ones here. So
this one, they had connected an LED. Those are LEDs like bulbs, but they're called LEDs because they consume very small electricity. We don't use complicated or too much electricity because we want to protect our learners from being shocked by electricity. So we use components that use very little electricity that doesn't hurt our students. So learners were connecting LED here. They were doing hardware programming. They were programming a roadblock. Roadblock. There is you know how roadblocks work. There is a car that is coming, but then this time the sensor senses that the car is actually approaching, opens the roadblock, then the car passes, closes automatically without the person having to monitor this.
I have seen those one in videos, in movies.
Then our learners can do that.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I actually see those ones in TikTok. Those on TikTok or some other videos. You see.
So here we were trying to train learners how to do hardware programming. Their learners were trying to make a car, trying to be creative, trying to make something that is valuable.
So, because of time, we might not go through all the photos on the screen. But I see in schools, one, how do you work with schools? How do you find schools? Do the schools find you as the organization, or you find the schools? And what terms and conditions are there?
Some schools find us, and some schools we find them. For example, some schools reach out, I would like some schools that are interested in this. They say, well, I would like my learners to have these skills. Could you please come and we talk more about this? And then we send our partnership person, and the person goes and talks to the school, and then we onboard the school like that. We charge a very small fee though, because the components you've seen being used in the videos are bought. We don't manufacture them. We buy the components, and then we use these components to make projects. So we charge a very small fee that helps us buy these components and then take them to the schools to do these trainings. Then for outreach schools, we have some computers we go with, laptops, and then we go do the training. For example, like if we're going to a refugee camp and then there are no computers, but then we want learners to know what is happening in technology, we just go with laptops and then train these learners. Okay.
So the schools
reach out, then we also reach out to schools. This is how we do it. We say, okay, this ABC school, we have this ABC services. This is how it actually works. This is what your learners are going to gain. could you be interested in this? And then if the school is open-minded, we'll say, okay, let's do a demo. And then maybe we'll do a demo from there if learners like it, and we also and the school likes it, tells the parents, there is this ABC, it's ABC good for your learners, for your children, so let's support this.
So I am wondering, how long does it take someone, a kid of 3 years, of 4, 5, 6, 7 years, for them to grasp this kind of, you know, tray of product? How long does it take them to produce this kind of products that you did? Or, you know, we see things being done there. How long does it take for someone to understand, learn, and produce this kind of quite a thing?
So, like as I said, we teach from simple to complex. We have a curriculum that trains actually at every age group or every level. Learners still come up with projects. The difference is the complexity of the project. So for young
things advance with age.
Yes, things advance with age. However, we don't keep in a school for a very long time. For learners who are still a bit younger, we spend around 5 years. Then those who are a bit, for example, secondary level, we spend like 2 years or 3 years, depending on where they are and the capacity on which they grasp things. So we basically do the training depending on the age group. So if learners are too young, and then we have to grow with them slowly by slowly, so we take some longer time. Then when they are already old and they grasp things quickly, we go down, like we take
you reduce the period,
the age.
So the longest someone can go to learn the things is 5 years.
The longest is 5 years.
So if it is not a child, if it is not a university student, and someone is just interested in coming to learn, do you have packages of people? Do you train other people other than students? Because I hear you talking about only students.
Okay, so we also have TOT. TOT is training of teachers. There are some schools that do not have these services, and their teachers do not. At university, if you have not gone to engineering, for example, the profession of teaching, they don't train these. So schools call us to go and train their teachers, so that the teachers can train the children.
Yeah.
So that is called the TOT, training of teachers. So we do go to schools, then train teachers, and then teachers are also able to train the children. We also have holiday camp programs. So during the holiday, we invite learners to our offices to come and do the training. Every holiday, we have a camp where learners come and they train in these services. We also have online classes, but then that is specifically for coding. If it is for robotics, then you need to buy a kit. If you want to train online with robotics, you have to buy a kit, because we cannot train without a kit. We also sell kits. It depends on the level. We have beginner, intermediate, and
the range. You could give us a range, maybe between this money and that money.
Okay, a kit is between 250 to 400.
Okay.
400,000 to 50,000.
Okay. 250,000 Ugandan shillings.
Yes.
Between 250 and 400,000 Ugandan shillings.
Yes.
Okay, that's for
hardware programming. Yes, hardware programming. That is robotics.
Okay.
So we specifically have holiday camps, online classes, school partnerships, and also community centers. We have a lot of community centers that train children deeper in villages. So we also go to those community centers, train the teachers in those community centers, and then they go and train children deeper in villages. We are aiming at reaching as many learners as we can.
Okay, unless there is something we've forgotten about Drop Code Academy International that you would want to share with us in the 1 minute left, then there you can also give us your closing remarks.
We invite everyone to join this technology movement.
By the way, before you even conclude, how has government come in? Did you have programs with government? How has government supported you? How do you want people to come and be part of this? Maybe you can have them in the closing remarks.
So for the government is actually very supportive.
They have given you some money.
No,
not yet. What is the government waiting for when they are embracing technology?
There are a lot of programs. There are a lot of initiatives that have started up to help people engage themselves in this technology and innovation stuff. So I can't say the government hasn't done its part. It has done its part, and we're also, the private entities were also doing our part. Then the audience, if it adopts this, then we can move towards achieving this goal. But about funding, I think you want to be interested in that. We do not have funding from donors and that stuff. We are trying to make these services reach to people using our resources, and also getting resources from people who subscribe.
Okay.
Yeah, but we are not being funded by
Any
donors.
we don't have no donors.
Oh no!
But you would appreciate them if they came on board.
Definitely, we would appreciate them if they came on board and supported our work.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you so much for coming through, and Mary, and explaining these things that look very simple when you're explaining them, but to those who don't know them, they seem very hard. Maybe you need to have classes. They have said they have classes. If you're interested in coding, robotics, and STEM and the rest, please go have classes. They will train you. They will charge you small money, because you've heard from me and XL TV. We're trying to discuss a partnership so that she can give you a discount to go and train and get to use these technologies, and be able to know that when you get a remote and you show it to a TV and the TV senses, then it is not heaven, it is not magic. They are things created by people. That's what these people are trying to bring down on ground, and taking them from to children from a right young age, so that kids grow up knowing these things. Technology. Anyway, mwebali nnyo kubanga mulabanze Enoth Mtungi, tubagaliza olunaku olulungi tukwatagane olunaku olwenkya. God bless you. Have a good day.